Well, hello there. This is a very tired Frenchie, aka Louis the Frenchy Monette, and joining with me on Schmoedown Night in Canada is Soda. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. This should be an interesting episode. You're tired and I'm a little high.
Well, I'm sorry in advance if I start mumbling. It's not my fault. All right, so look.
Forgive the eternal smile you'll probably see on this episode.
All right, no problem. And that being said, hey, why do you need sleep when you can watch them Schmoedown? So let's cover some Schmoedown. On today's episode, we are covering Deception versus Lethal Weapons and Witching Power versus the Founding Fathers. All right, so let's go right at it. Deception versus Lethal Weapons. The usual, before you watch that match, your gut instinct, what was it telling you?
See, my gut instinct was Lethal Weapons just based on, they have the experience behind them because they've been around a while. So I thought it would definitely be Lethal Weapons pulling this one out, but holy shit was I surprised.
Yeah, and I was flip on this. My gut said it can go either way. It depends on, luck and if you're cursed or not. You just need that lucky break or that unlucky break, and it could have went either way, in my opinion. That being said,
did you see the results coming? How it ended? No. Me neither. Like I said to a friend of mine, I saw TKO, yes, but not a KO.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. Deception, well, Collins itself, yes, you said Lethal Weapons has experience, right? But one thing that Collins is showing us is that you don't need years and years and years of accumulated experience to make a mark and crush, right? And Collins really, really shows that you could be a rookie and really make an impact to the point that you have Ethan Irwin and Andrew Guy. You see Harloff resume their accolades, right? Guy finished twice in the finals. Ethan Irwin is a past champion and a force, and that did not matter. I love how also they carried themselves, even though they were facing legends. It was like just another day for them.
They worked very well as a team. Like the way they were answering their questions when they were when it was the two of them having to do it. Yeah, no, they played really, really well. And let's not forget, Adam Collins is on one hell of a hot streak right now. Yeah, probably the hottest we've seen since Sam Levine when he went and won the title.
And it's funny, he's one of the people that is on a hot streak, but is one of the only people that it doesn't get to their heads. Usually when we see hot streaks, except for maybe Dan Murrow. Dan Murrow is a very humble person, or for what we can see, anyways. Collins is even more. Yes, he'll correct you and shit like that, but he's not claiming any greatness. He's not claiming any look at me, no one can stop me in a very high head airhead way. He's really doing it low key, which is still odd seeing with who's managing him. But the low key chemistry works with Mary McKee because McKee is very low key, but they seem to balance each other out. And there's a confidence that, is taking a risk on the other person, but it seems to be more calculated than, let's say, what we saw with Lethal Weapons, that they try to trust in each other, but something was off in those trusting.
Yeah, you know what I noticed? I noticed two things this match. One is that Adam Collins and Dan Murrell are two sides of the same coin. They're they're very similar in how they approach things. They're both very humble. They don't seek the accolades. They're pretty straightforward. But one's a heel, one's a face. You know what I mean? And then the other one is Andrew Guy. For me, the only thing that's separating him from a player like Stacey Howard is that he is a much better character. I think that they both have similar bases of knowledge. Because yes, they both eat out big wins, but that's kind of few and far between. But Guy's the one with the character as opposed to Stacey. So I think they're the same similar players, but again, it's down to character work. That's why Guy's considered one of the top stars. That's just what I noticed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But Guy said himself, right? I can't wait for this age to end. We called it before. He is not made for the webcam the online type matches, which I'm again almost convinced we are going to see sometimes from for especially people who can't be in studio all that much. But Guy cannot wait for this to get over with, and I agree with him. I can't wait to see him in studio. But I'll be honest, if things don't get better, I don't want to see Guy go away.
I don't think he will.
But no, I don't think so either. But he needs the shenanigans, right? But he's not pulling the knowledge as he should or as he did before back in the day. And it's been like that since Team Action split up, right?
Yeah.
Bateman really got the higher end of the stick. He really found a partner, found a faction, and went on not necessarily to be at the 100% top, but a good run. Guy has been such wishy-washy, trying to always find a way, find a team, and finding himself that at this point, I personally would prefer to see him as more of a manager, because if he wants to get in people's head, but he can't really pull 100% the knowledge right now, or he has to find himself, might as well just do something new.
Yeah, I agree. I think next year actually would probably be a perfect opportunity for him to do that, because as Ken Napzok announced this week that he's retiring from the Schmoedown. So that's down one manager, and there's also room for potential 10th. So I would like to see him go for it next year.
Yeah, because he was always, Ben Bateman is a mouth, but there's something that Guy brought that always not overshadow is not the right word. It's more of he was a bit more dominant, right, in the presentation. So something that sticked out a bit more, that felt like a real menace, right, and a real trash talker. Whereas Ben is smooth and can trash talk. Guy is just in your face, and that is a quality you need as a manager, especially for you can play that middle role, right? Not necessarily bad, not necessarily good, in the middle, and that's what Guy represents. He has to do it personally.
No, for sure. And he is a good enough player. There is a reason why he beat Dan Merle, other than it being a fluke. He just needs to find his place. He will.
He will, but
honestly, I think him and Ethan do have great chemistry as a team. I just don't think this was a good match to start with. It just everything went horribly wrong.
KO aside, I honestly didn't think they meshed that well. They had cool moments. They had moments that you can see there's friendship. There's Ian Irwin giggled more than the usual, right? There's probably they're synchronized in their humor and how they like each other, right? But play wise, I don't know. Something felt off. Something felt like it tried to go with the legacy of what Guy had with The Godfather, right? Because they're kind of similar too, right? They're lower key, very broad knowledge, industry type people, but it just doesn't fit together properly, right? And it's like recatching the old spirit, though, like the old glory days what you had before, and just trying to find something similar. If he wants to work, I find he has to find a partner that just fits his personality and his skill set, and not go for the same type of player that he used to work with back in the day.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think the only way we'll get that is if he ever reunites with Ben Bateman, which a lot of people think is going to happen. I don't think right away.
I hope they're going to go in the Wildberries route, that when he comes back, they'll do a storyline that Guy is pissed off at Irwin and not Irwin, at the Godfather, and they actually try to do like a team versus team with Guy and someone else, and Irwin and someone else, and do a war. Now, the Godfather, I should say, that would be a better storyline, because I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the action team action?
Yeah, I'm talking about the action guys. Like if they were to reunite.
I'll get some more copies.
No, I think if they were to reunite, I think that's really the only true teammate that has so far worked well with Guy.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to show, right? That goes to show that was Ben Bateman really carrying the team?
At the end, yes.
Okay.
Beginning, no. I think when they first came in, they very much were equal. I'm not talking gameplay. I'm talking about how like they meshed well together. The characters, not their ability to answer questions. I think they meshed very well together. That they were one entity. But once Bateman's mind clicked for the game, that's when he started to eclipse Andrew Guy. And so by the end, it was definitely Bateman carrying the team. But at the very beginning, no, I'd say they were both equal par.
Yeah, because Ben Bateman is a student of the game. Yeah. You see, again, Guy is almost like the mouthpiece, the manager, right? What I would imagine, right? He does a 10 faction, he becomes the manager, and Ben Bateman goes in his faction. That's the faction. Perfect. That's the faction Ben Bateman chooses. Instead of all the concepts we have before already in place, he joins a new team as the star player for Andrew Guy's faction. Yo, sign me up.
And he names the faction the Action Army.
Yeah, for sure. And
here's an idea for you. Feel free to steal it.
And you see, Harloff just put a post on, right, that he's looking for female competitors, and we all know Action Army has a lot of female supporters. I forgot the name they gave, like the women's side of Action Army, but just a special name for them. And like, let's say like they do the Action Army and they actually recruit one or two people from that they could really hold their own, right? And then you got a legit success story from like just fan page or like a freaking faction.
And one of the names I saw thrown out in that question by Harloff was the Action Army's own Alex Shawshak. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much possibilities, and again, this is where I'm seeing Guy. That being said, it's not just lethal weapons where we're talking about. We're also talking about deception. Mm-hmm. Okay, and if you haven't watched, again, we're not probably impossible. Well, not possible, but you need a lot of coffee to watch a whole 28-hour stream. But if ever you have the chance, go take a look at the Smash-a-thon Support Cancer. A lot of great bits and pieces. And if you look at ours, we did a type of mock for expansion draft, right? And when it came to corruption, Dan actually chose not to take Collins, right? Is that still the route to go to really keep a chance in a Kalinowski? After what we're seeing, not only is he doing a great run in the other tournaments, he KO'd an amazing player and amazing potential team, and they seem even more powerful together than just him alone. Do you let that go? And do you let them go, let's say?
It's really tough for me because, I mean, if you look at it, corruption, the team, is the golden goose pretty much for corruption, the faction. And then also, if you look at them individually, do you think they're better as a pair or do you think they're better as singles? Because honestly, I don't think Collins really needs the team to shine, in my opinion. Whereas the corruption, the team, I think they're at that point in their careers where they're better together than they are apart.
The thing is, no, but I think they come from the same background. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did know each other before because of that background.
Deception?
Yeah,
they do. Yeah,
exactly. They already have this chemistry. They come from the same, pedigree, because there's different ways you can go in Schmoedown. They come from the same line. There's already seemed to be chemistry like in place right now. They guess well together. You can see that the trust is there enough to go with the other choices. But if the other person has a hunch, they'll listen to them. So it works perfectly for what I saw, especially to be able to KO, not TKO, and not just because bad luck. Is the good play they did permitted them. And they go well with Shannon. Like, it's a whole, symbiosis between the three of them, especially Collins and Shannon. But McKee can bring something very special for teams. She needs Collins. Collins doesn't need her. But the combination, if it's strong enough, can dominate the teams league. You kind of still want to keep together and not risk trying to hope to find something that clicks as much as what we saw today. So I'm going to go out. I say reshuffle things. I would actually go maybe keep, I say, Chance, keep McKee, keep Collins, but sadly, maybe reshuffle Kalinowski.
Now, The only other argument for keeping corruption the team together would be you would still pick Collins in your third slot because with him you have your dominant singles player, and then with Kalinowski and Chance you have two dominant interdeacon players and a dominant team. So I mean, if you look at it that way, that would be a reason to keep Kalinowski and Collins. But yeah, I think you do make a good point. Definitely, go for the future.
Yeah, because at one point, Kalinowski is good, but I think it would do him some good also to be reshuffled with something else. I mean, as much as he's a good player, his character at one point is not anymore a character; it's himself. I think just a shift, like when you see a wrestler, right? I don't watch that much wrestling, but I do know sometimes after a while, when it's been a couple of years or a little run up on a character and starting to fade away, they recycle, they do a new persona, they try to find life somewhere else, and it works somehow, right? Yeah. I think maybe that's what Kalinowski should do or might be interested to do.
The best example of that, and I know you don't watch wrestling, but you know this character is The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his evolution. He started off as the funeral worker for a pallbearer who was head of this world, and then he slowly became the Lord of Darkness, pretty much like leading the satanic cult, came back as the American badass. And then he kind of did right after that transition to like an even more good old Texas boy version of a badass to come back to the phenom. Right. So, I mean, always changing it up, always trying to keep it fresh.
And you see, yeah, exactly. It's, because I was going to say, well, I forgot the name, the three friends,
McFoley?
The one that has a YouTube gaming channel.
Oh, the New Day.
Yeah, at first they were like this like Catholic thing before being the New Day. Like they try to find themselves and they never really found until they found New Day. But I think your example is better because he Undertaker had a legacy, but he reinvented. It's not like he was trying to find himself all this time, and that's Kalinowski. He attained glory. But to be able to continue to attain glory, you have to push yourself in different directions. And I think maybe the whole corruption route, he did his time. He did like, what, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, and it is his team. So that's one of those. It's like, could you see Smets without Kaiser sort of thing? Like, it can be done, but it's kind of not really – kind of hard to picture.
Yeah, but the storyline would be awesome. You would have an actual like Shannon versus Kalinowski instead of them as a team making them part of an opposing storyline for factions. You would have Kalinowski supporting other people. It would make something different to see because corruption after a while is like same thing for Finstock Exchange. They're getting shuffled. We see they're getting shuffled. So it's going to create new dynamics, new things to explore, different things to see. Because if not, like if it's another couple years of the same formation and it's not working out anymore 100%, so they decided to do that way. It's working out for corruption, but it's not working out for Kalinowski. Something to keep in mind. Because if not, again, do you risk? Okay, you take Kalinowski, cool. If someone else has an eye on McKee, drafts her, you just separated Collins, and then you're going to have to try to find a way to exchange to get McKee or find another pairing, which again, usually is not a bad thing, but there's something about what I saw that there's chemistry in a way that the championship type teams have. Like I see in the sparkle in Collins' eyes since the very beginning, he has the attitude of a future champion, like he already won the whole damn thing, right? And I feel it's not just him on what I saw, it was both of them together. So you really have to calculate your moves here to make sure you don't break them up if you take a chance.
Yeah, no matter what, Shannon's got a tough decision ahead of her because either you break up corruption or you break up deception. No matter what, it's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard, and I mean, people are gonna be out for it, right? Again, the whole karma is gonna go back and bite you in the ass when she split up the wildberries, and she'd be like, "Yeah, I'll take him. Ha ha ha! Come to my." Well, someone might be able, like, oh, you screwed us over. You screwed the whole, Wildberry fandom over. Well, we'll do the same thing to you. We're gonna split someone up and take someone. Like it can go back to bite her in the butt. And I wouldn't want to be her. Like, I would want to be her because she has an amazing faction, and I hate what I'm saying right now. But that decision will make or break it for next year. That will really show that not only did she get lucky in getting the player she did, but she knows how to maintain a winning faction.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
All right, so let's go on to the next. Unless there's something you want to cover for.
No, not really. Pretty much, we touched everything that I wanted to talk on about that match. So.
All right, so witching powder, boy, witching power versus founding fathers. Don't start, Soda.
What's more embarrassing? What happened to you in the Zoom room or this?
Zoom room. There's a reason why I bought a new chair.
Yeah, let's just say that's an inside joke between us.
Well, we can say it like when we're waiting to be on onto the stream for the Schmoedown. My chair just broke, so everyone saw me like talking. Then plop.
Yeah, it was just so funny to see Lou like kind of slowly awkwardly drop out of screen. It was like, oh my god, we did that at 7 a.m.
If only it happened on stream and people would have seen it.
It would have been probably the moment of the stream.
Well, that being said, let's talk bad luck. Let's talk some juju here. Witching power versus founding fathers. For me, it was kind of like, okay, they're going to get destroyed. I love Perry, but they are nowhere close of being founding father material. And this was a tighter match than I expected. I mean, they really... something that Harloff said, and it's true, they bring the best out of competitors.
Yeah.
And they really make sure that, their competitors give them 120% and give them a good run for the money. And Witching Power did exactly that.
100%. Like they're probably one of the more underrated teams in the league right now. And yes, they're 1-1 now, but and also they show that I guess before a certain time period, their knowledge is a little lax, but they're definitely a team you shouldn't be sleeping on, especially when you're doing teams matches, because they kind of seem to fill each other's gaps in a way. And plus it also helps that they're both movie reviewers and both work for Collider, so they're really knee deep in all the movies and stuff like that. So the result went exactly how I thought it would go. Definitely third round. But yeah, Witching Power definitely showed something in here. Do I think they're on the founding fathers level? No, but I think with a little bit more time, they can definitely be something.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many teams that are on their level, except maybe for Deception and maybe one or two more other teams. But Witching Power is definitely a contender. They have good chemistry because they're friends. They seem to, again, trust in each other, but it's not fine-tuned perfectly, and they definitely need to find a full structure, a full regimen to really commit to this. I'm not sure how 100% committed Perry Namiroff is to be on the next level, right? Does she, she's a busy girl on Collider, a lot of things to do. She's a social media presence, and that requires to be on the next level commitment to something that not everyone is willing to do. So after a while, how long could this last if they do this kind of performance? They're good, but I don't see them having a long life if things doesn't change. That being said, I think Haley Fouch could be one of those people. I'm just not sure Perry is.
They remind me a little bit of Team Trek.
Yes. I mean, the good guys, right? And all the spirits, and the you want to hug them, right? You're like, you guys are awesome. But when it comes going to a competition level, I mean, there's nothing wrong being
what the fuck?
Things are falling in my house. All right.
Dave, you better leave that in.
Make something fall. I don't know. So yes, it's the girlfriend's fault. Always a girlfriend. All right, but
I hope to see her hand just come into the screen.
No, I'm safe for now. But no, there's nothing wrong being middle pack, right? But Coy is he's getting there. Like his team is not, his faction is not perfect. There's some tweaking to do. He definitely has the foundations of a really good top three type of team for next year. But there's some stuff in the bottom tier on his faction that he needs to kind of change and rise up to the quality. For them, they're good, but I find that they could maybe be used somewhere else with someone else that would probably balance more for what they need and leave room maybe to another team that would accomplish something else to assure the Rackins some extra points you would need to get in the top three.
If you wanted another team, I could definitely see Witching Power, because I don't think they're going to stay with the Mercs next year. That's going to be Sam. I could see the Witching Power doing well with Winston.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind them with the Den.
Really?
It's the dynamic. It's good guy, bad guy. Like the dynamic with Kate. For me, it works. You don't expect them to be bad guys, right? But you don't have them. They don't have to do the mouthpiece. They have the perfect managers for that. I actually see them a lot better with the Den.
Really, I don't see that team meshing at all with this version of Kate, like with this character of Kate that we have. Now, if it was Kate Mulligan, the real person, I'm with you all the way. But this Chicago version of Kate, I don't know. I just have a hard time picturing it.
And we are back. Sorry about that. Just let me called. All right. So talking about before the Den. Well, actually, the Witching Power. Where did he go? I hope they don't get split up because they really seem comfortable with each other. And Fouch really needs a good partner because she's never been lucky. She has a lot more potential than she's shown. She just needs the right circumstances. And I think circumstances is Perry Nemiroff.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get split up either.
No. Now, Founding Fathers, did you see enough for you to be confident that they have this in the bag, or it's going to be a struggle?
It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
I think they can win? Of course. You can never bet against the Founding Fathers. But I don't think this was their best match.
Yeah, it's like...
It was middle of the road.
Yeah, it's like... there's no examples. I'm sure you can help me. There's like a legacy team, right, that won Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup. But you can see at a certain point, after a couple Stanley Cups, they're getting tired. They're good, but they're not.
Blackhawks of the last 10 years.
Exactly. The Blackhawks, they had a lot of, momentum. They are a legendary formation, but you could saw at one point that things are starting to change and they're not exactly the same and probably will never be the same. This is what I'm seeing with Founding Fathers. Although how long will that happen? I don't know. I don't think it's next season. I'm not even sure when exactly, but you can see that they're not exactly the same as before.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you there. It's kind of like, okay, we know they're good. What else what else is going on?
Yeah, and this is why Deception and a couple of other teams, the newer factions, not factions, but teams or newer, Blood itself. It's just so fun to see because Founding Fathers against they'll probably win or they'll do good. There's no surprise there, right? We're surprised when they lose and they be like, what happened? No one saw that coming. But at one point, there's other things that they need challenge. And again, with Witching Power, it wasn't supposed to be that tight, and that makes me worried a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100% on
that. What did you think of Gucci? How do you think he's taking this season so far of what you saw on screen?
I think he's invested, but not as much as he would be if it were closer in the standings than it is now. Again, I'm not saying he's not invested, like he's not working with his teams and stuff like that, but it's just, I don't know, I just feel like he knows at this point that there's playing for third.
I mean, before we had the very sports type team standings, there was no barometer to say who was really the best, right? Who was top dog, and not everyone had factions. Not everyone had, someone else to rely on. The lucky few had the chance to be with a manager, so it was easy to dominate, and it was easy to say, "Hey, I'm the best." But now we actually have something to calculate who the best is, and you can't deny the stats what you see on screen.
Yeah,
reality set in, I think, a bit with Gucci.
Well, Gucci was the barometer for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, there really wasn't many managers, so he was the measuring stick. Yeah. Now it seems like a whole whackload of managers are surpassing him.
Yeah, he created basically the position, and he really opened up the possibilities. But like you said, there's other managers that taking it a step further and really doing something that like continues on the legacy of what he created.
Yeah.
But at one point, when the sport evolves past the coach, or past the player, it becomes something else, and they're a bit behind, and be like, well, that's where the sport is headed.
Yeah, I don't think he has that other gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if he does, I think. And again, this is me. I'm not saying that no one should retire. I'm changing that tune. But I think a switch up, and they're heading for a switch up. He's been doing the same type of teams. It's like the whole legacy thing. I really hope he actually goes in a Kaiser route this time. That he actually takes a chance more on rookies, because you never know who's the next Adam Collins.
Yeah.
And just by hoping that, he has a bit more luck than Kaiser did this year. But moneyballing the situation a bit more than just getting legacy players. You don't have to have a Steve Yzerman and a shitload of like high-paying the New York. They are the New York Rangers of
no. The Detroit Red Wings. I will say they're more the Detroit Red Wings of the New York Rangers, because if you take a look when the Detroit Red Wings had their dynasty, it was a lot of older players, especially when they won the Cup in 2002.
True.
So Tom Dagnito is the Detroit Red Wings of the thing. Like, he will always be around in the league, but I don't think he will do that rookie route. I really don't. I think he's a creature of habit.
He is, but at one point, how much you recycle your strategies? If it worked for so while, but then you see other people have different strategies and it's working for them, and they're gobbling up points that you're losing. If you continue bucking in the same type, there's only so much veterans in this game. You pretty much got them, and after a while, they gotta get recycled. Like in the next maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years. God knows how long Riley has. You already have Ben Bateman. He's going away. He's going to be a veteran in a couple of years down. I mean, there's just so much you can do that at one point you kind of have to change your strategy.
Maybe, but I don't think it's something that's going to happen right away. If anything, a couple of seasons down the line.
Now I'm curious if Tom Dagnino's FinSock Exchanges did Red Wings. What is Quirky Merck's equivalent of a hockey team?
The Quirky Mercs are the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes.
Why?
Maybe that's not a good comparison because the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup that year, but I got a feeling that they're too talented and people are overlooking them.
Yeah, okay, I agree. I really agree on that. For me, corruption is the LA Kings.
Corruption is the LA Kings, eh?
Yeah, at their height, their height, they're like dominate. After they won that Stanley Cup, they're dominating everything. I really find they're the LA Kings or the Chicago Blackhawks.
I would actually say they're more like the Penguins.
Oh,
Penguins are on the downturn right now. Chicago's already been in the downturn for the last couple of years, but at this moment, Pittsburgh is
not of the season. Like Chicago passed when the
I get what you mean. Okay, fair enough.
And Seabrook and
Seabrook and Keith and
the good old times. Yeah. All right, so sorry for going again. I'm still looking at NHL retro reverse jerseys, so my mind goes hockey right now.
And I'm just a huge hockey fan, so it's going to come out every episode I'm on pretty much.
All right, so look, I need to get to bed. It is almost midnight. I'm pulling a 10-hour tomorrow, so we're going to cut this short. Before we go, my soda, you have other projects, not just Schmoes of the North. Where can people find you, and what are you up to?
Okay, well, first and foremost, you can always find me over here in the Schmoes of the North Network because this is home for me, baby. Always finding me here and always finding me on Northern Consultations, where we've actually got a pretty special one coming up the pike. Lou and I are going to be recording it the day after we record this. So definitely look out for that one. And then on my other channel, you can find me over on Media Sweaties Network, where every Sunday I host the show Get Sweaty, which this week we're actually doing a format change. Now we're just going to be doing our top 5 because that seems to be what everybody enjoys, and it kind of lives up to the name Get Sweaty. You can also find me on Thursdays over on that same channel doing Shooting the Breeze, where me and my friend Ben Rayner, from the show Mount Schmoedown, we just sit there and we shoot the shit for an hour with a special guest. We've already had Lou on, and I believe Dan is actually Dave's supposed to come on not too far from now. And we're actually debuting a new show this week.
Oh,
we're yeah, I'll mention it because I think this is probably going to drop around the same time. Basically, we're going to be kind of aping the Kind of Funny in Review series, and Ben and I are going to be reviewing TV shows in the past. And the first one we're doing, Saved by the Bell. But we're starting with Good Morning Miss Bliss, the first or the original season of that show. So we're going to be doing about 4 episodes, four show episodes an episode, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice, man. Like Saved by the Bell, I barely saw. The only thing I know is like Screech, and I think my girlfriend said he's in prison now, so he can't really
for stabbing someone. Yeah.
Oh god.
No, like Saved by the Bell for me, it's something I grew up watching, and do I think it's good? No, but it's definitely very nostalgic, and I do enjoy watching stuff from every once in a while. So it's going to be fun, and then we're probably going to be doing shows like Friends and Perfect Strangers, and Boy Meets World is one that's been talked about. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun covering these old shows.
Could you do me a favor? And if you do an episode about this show, I'm going on. I want to do an episode on gargoyles.
Oh, that would be fun because I've actually never seen Gargoyles. One of the things they're talking about is doing shows that the other person hasn't seen.
Gargoyles it's not that good, to be honest. It really isn't, but it brings so much memories that it has its own corny, cheesy attractiveness to it. That being said, look, again, I need to sleep. You can find me as usual on Facebook, on the Schmoes of the North Facebook page, on our YouTube page that you're probably watching right now. So if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. At least minimum, please click a like. And you can also find me on the audio side on Anchor, Apple Podcasts. We don't just do Schmoes of the North. We don't just do Northern Consultations here. We have Frenchie Talks About and the Frenchie Watches. I'm currently doing a lot of pre-recordings and releasing them per week, and we are talking about we're talking about just various subjects. Last week I had I had the Frenchie Talks About. Wow, I'm tired.
You did the reverse hockey jerseys without the guy who wears hockey jerseys.
Yes, but also I did a City of God review with Jay Wade.
Yeah.
This week is Women Priesthood with Miss McDonald. We have a lot of different types of subjects for everyone. Week after that, I'm probably going to have the one on anime. So take a look. It is a deep dive of interesting.
And I know of one potential guest, and if it actually does happen, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, well, we're talking 2021 here. We're talking 2021. We're not going to talk about it right now because but the universe, everything might explode in a couple of months. So, and that person probably is going to have to pick out the pieces. So, all right. So before again we go, you write in the chat. You're completely right. We do have a special 100 sub project. We're right now 101. So we're just one over, and we're deciding to do that special. It is either going to be a Schmunger Games or a Survivor type simulation. Schmoevivor, exactly, which is basically us putting a bunch of contestants in a algorithm made for doing projects like this. And we did a couple of tests. It is hilarious.
Magneto fell out of a tree and killed Kaiser.
Exactly. Winston went ape shit and started killing people. So it might sound morbid. It is, and that's why it's fun. So go take a look whenever it's out. We're recording it very soon, if not already when this comes out. So don't miss out. I don't know. That being said, I need to snooze. Bye-bye.
Good night.